YouTube. I was about to start writing a song for my boyfriend, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to let you guys into my thinking process when I'm writing music, because a lot of people, I think, either are scared off by, the composers that have lasted through time, the classics and the classic rock, and there's just some truly incredible music in the world, but that doesn't mean that your song is going to be bad. It just means that I don't even really know what I want to say, but it doesn't really mean anything. It's your song. You're allowed to want it to be great, and you're also allowed to want it to just fit your lyrics or something, or fit your occasion, as I may be, writing for someone because they did something for me and I'm trying to repay the favor, or I just want to give them a gift, and it's a lot like poetry or writing, novels or anything. There's really great, just incredible work out there, and that doesn't mean you have to be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It doesn't have to mean you need to be like the people that are considered great. You don't have to write like Charles Dickens. No one wants you to do that. It's okay. He already wrote his stuff. And nobody really wants you to write like Led Zeppelin. It's not gonna go well. They already wrote their stuff. You write your own stuff. It's just that kind of thing. So, but I noticed that songwriting doesn't come easily to people, and I think that's just because, we use language a lot more than we use music, which is kind of a shame, but I was so young when I started learning music that, when you're a little kid, you just finger paint. I was basically finger painting. And if you finger paint long enough, you get kind of good at it. So I guess YouTube is, I'm going to show you how I finger paint. And this is first take as usual, and it's probably going to be long, and I'm probably not going to edit it because I'm not going to feel like it. So sorry. But there's going to be a lot of wisdom in here, because I have some credentials, I've won some contests and stuff, but most of all, I've written my own songs. Well, I've put my ideas together with my language, together with my musical knowledge, and so I just want to show you how to do that, and maybe you will find something in my way of doing things that you like, and you will add to your way of doing things. I got my laptop up here because I have what's called finale print music. It's kind of halfway up the finale stepping scale. It's better than Notepad. It costs money, or I guess Notepad costs money now. Anyway, so you get Notepad, it costs a little bit of money. You got some other something, and then you got print music, and then you got almost finale all the way, and then you got the actual finale all the way. So it's somewhere in the middle. But I love it, and I've been using it since I was in middle school. Upgrading it doesn't cost nearly as much as buying it. So once you buy it, you can keep upgrading it for a cheaper price, and you keep getting new features for a cheaper price every time you want to upgrade. So that's been working for me really well. Sometimes my Christmas present will just be, we're upgrading your finale, and I'm that's wonderful, perfect. I get some new features, and things run a little faster, and that's great. If you want something free, MuseScore, I have not used myself a whole lot because I already had this finale print music before I knew of MuseScore, but my a cappella group, ironically the Muses, we are called the Muses, and many of us use MuseScore because it's free and because it's perfectly fine for writing a cappella music. So if that's what you're interested in, totally check it out. It works great. There are some idiosyncrasies that you'll have to work through, but everyone has worked through it already. You know, once you Google it, it'll be fine. Like there are a million people who have already wrote up the answers for how to get through troubles with MuseScore. Don't be scared. Just jump in and just see what you get. MuseScore can really produce some great things. You just have to figure out. It's just like any other program, really. You just got to figure out what the buttons are, and kind of the workflow, that kind of thing. The other one that's I think is free still is called Sibelius. I guess I should probably link to these when I'm done. I'll try. I think that's also free. I have never used it, but I think some of my a cappella friends have used it with success, at least for a cappella. And yeah, so those are the programs I use and have seen other people use. I can't think of any others to tell you about to look at, but let's see. MuseScore will absolutely get you soprano, alto, tenor, bass, the basic vocal ranges that would usually be in your music, and the treble and bass clef on one staff for your piano part. I know for a fact it can do that. I think it can also do, similar to Finale, can also do like just the vocal parts, just the piano, and other instruments. I know that MuseScore does other instruments, mostly because it's really fun, and it's really fun to, and sometimes the vocal, this isn't gonna give you like Siri or Alexa or something. It's gonna give you kind of it's gonna give you the right pitch, but it's gonna sound a little robotic, but that can be okay, and what was I saying? Oh, so because the voices can sound a little robotic, sometimes it's nice to put like a trumpet or a saxophone instead. It just depends on like how high you're going in the vocal range, that kind of thing. Or like in particular, the Muses did "Love You Madly" by Cake, and there's just a lot of like attack in there. There's a lot of trumpet, literally, in that song. So I think when the person who arranged it for us, when she made the sound files for us to listen to, did everything in trumpet, because it just sounded a lot better than the computer voice trying to like sit there on some like syncopated 8th note staccato rhythm on like G like way up here, there's some things that humans can do that computers are not quite good at yet. Personally, I think that will always be true, but whatever. Anyway, so that's a lot about music programs. Totally shoot me a message if you are having any trouble with these programs. But honestly, I think you will be able to find like message boards or just forums. Maybe not on the product websites themselves, but I would guess that there is a support community for musicians who need to notate whatever they're doing. Somewhere, maybe on Tumblr, maybe on, oh my god, I don't know. It's probably as old as these programs themselves. So you might have to do some digging because they might be kind of out of date. But if I can't help you and you can't find someone who can help you, I would dig and see if you can find some forums. And or you know, I would ask professors at music schools, and that might be a little intimidating, but you know, you're kind of giving them a compliment. Like you're asking for their time, but you're also kind of saying, hey, I trust you to give me the right answer. You know, hey, I've heard of you. That's kind of nice as a musician. So you know, maybe look at your local universities, community colleges, whatever, or just whatever, straight up email someone in Berkeley. Who cares? Like, the worst they can do is not answer you. And someone will be able to answer your question eventually. You know, I honestly wish that I had thought of that and been confident enough to go through with it, to like email a professor of music around here when I was in high school, when I was having problems with my music notation software. I think that would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of just struggle, and I think my notation would have come out better. So yeah, that's my advice. But I'm going to show you how I do it just in case I'm useful for you, especially if this is the first time you've done anything, or if you're just trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I go from I've got some ideas in my head and how do I make that music? That's what we're gonna do, and that's why it's gonna be long. Sorry. Anyway, usually I start with a concept. I'm usually writing music about something or someone. I've written a lot of themes for characters in books that I've liked, and I've written a lot of music for people in my life, and let's see, yeah, mostly that. I don't think I've written music for someone else's. Oh yeah, I'm actually in the process of writing music for someone else's lyrics, and I have written music for someone else's lyrics. I finished one of them, and two of them I haven't finished yet, and that is because I go to a poetry club, and they said, hey Katie, you sing and you do music stuff, and we're these homes, but we hear music, we want music, with them. Would you do that? And so of course I said yes, and it's been a long time, and I'll get there someday, and maybe I'll make another video, but right now I want to, go from the absolute beginning. So, what you're gonna need. Pianos are real nice, but you don't actually need a piano. The thing is, if you are a beginner, even me, like, I feel like a beginner writing like vocal music, and honestly, even what I'm trying to say is that your phone can download infinite varieties of keyboard apps, and they will give you these awesome, like, scalable keyboards that need a piano to what's an E flat. Your phone can do that. What's hard is I don't know why it is so difficult to. There's just times where you will write something and it will sound wonderful on your notation software or in your head or on your phone's keyboard or something, and you go to play it and it's just not playable, or it's just not singable, or there's something where there's just like, you put a huge jump and you didn't realize it, or it just doesn't flow smoothly or something, or, you know, some of it can be fixed by just fingerings. Like, I will never forget, I was playing this concerto once and went out to get a like master lesson by someone that my piano teacher at the time recommended to me, and I just remember like really clearly there was more than one way to finger a certain there was more than one way to play a certain part on the piano, and one was just infinitely easier than the other. If you want to know what I mean, it was, can you see? You can see me, sweet. So, but you can see me better up here. I'll just wait where it is. So, it was something, it was like a, oh no, it was a Mozart sonata. It goes like this. I haven't practiced at all. Anyway, so when you do this part, you can, so you're on your second finger and you're going up. So you can just do 2, 3, 4, 5 if you want. But the thing is, you have a trill that's coming next. So like you can, if you want, you can do, so this is like 1, 2 to go lower. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is what I have to trill on. This is 4. So I can try to trill with my 4th finger and my 5th finger and my first, like 5, 4, 1. I mean, just try it. Like, even if you don't play piano, like try doing like your thumb, your 4th finger, and your 5th finger, like repeatedly. It's not fun, but if you do 1, 1, 2, if you do 1, 2, and then you go back to 1, because in piano we slip 1 under 2 a lot. It's pretty easy because you can go 1, 2, and you can just slip 1 under and go 1 and then get back to 2. So if you do that, I hope this is making sense. Anyway, you can do 1, 2, 1, and then you control, it's actually 3, but it's much easier than 4. Yeah. It's much easier when you're trying to go fast. That's all I can tell you. And sometimes when you're writing, you will write in something that is like trying to trill on 4. Or I'm just trying to give you an example of the type of thing that you can do in your head that you can't do, or you know, if you're playing saxophone, if you're writing for saxophone, you might accidentally write out of range. And okay, some people can do that. Some people can, I forget what they call it, but you have these weird fingerings right at the very end, well, I mean high end of the saxophone, and if you bite your lip and get the reed going just right, you can make some extra notes. But you don't want to, unless you're doing that on purpose, you want to stick within the real available range. And some notation programs will actually tell you, if you fill in before you start writing what instrument you have, it will like glow red if you're out of range or something. But you know, you could do something like that, or again, like on a saxophone or like a flute or a clarinet, anything like, even a trumpet really, you can, especially if you're going to trill, for example, you can make something exceedingly difficult where if you just like shifted the key like half a step, it would be beautiful and easy. So you can, what my point was, you can do a lot of this without the instrument, without the voice, without the keyboard. You can do a lot without that, but until you really, really are comfortable with the instrument, are comfortable with the voices, are comfortable, like I can write for a cappella, and I don't have to really check it out too much. It's more of like a, hey, would you proofread my resume kind of thing. But if I'm gonna write for piano, I'm gonna play it as best as I can because I need to be more careful. I don't know how to explain that. I just have a better feel for what a voice can do. Pianos are really, they feel unlimited. I am not the piano. What I mean is, I myself have sung a cappella. I have been the strained voice, and I have been the tongue that can't keep up, and I have personally, felt those things. It's kind of like exercising. But I am not the strings of the piano, and I am not, like, I am my fingers to some extent, but not to the same extent that I am my voice. And that might be different for different people, but I'm just saying that's what you gotta watch out for, is if you don't have most people just are not, even if you're wonderful at your instrument, when you put the notes on the page, or if you just look at the notes, especially if you're writing for something that is not keyboard, and you're using a piano app to get the sound, you have to go check and make sure that that instrument you want can play that thing you want. And you will be surprised if you're writing for instruments you don't play. You will be surprised what you cannot play on certain instruments and what you can. So that's my second introduction here. I'm already up to 20 minutes. You're gonna be so bored. That's awesome. What was I saying? So yeah, I'm writing for my boyfriend. So I already have some ideas in my head for like melody stuff, but if I didn't, I would start brainstorming on something like this. I have, since this is like a thick journal, I have it binder clipped, I have it rubber banded. You can do whatever you need to do to make sure these pages are not flying everywhere. It's just gonna annoy the hell out of you. So when you're setting up to go write something, if you're gonna use like real paper, and I really do recommend it, it's another way to get around the issue of notation software having the ability to do things that real instruments cannot do. Sometimes when you write it out, you realize, oh, I can't do this. But I like to think visually, I like to think in words. I'm not just necessarily thinking in music, especially if I'm writing for somebody, which I am. So I'm just sitting here writing like, well, okay, I'm not gonna tell you his name and stuff, so I'm just gonna write boyfriend and a nice heart around it or something. Just like talk about what you're doing. Oops, you can't see any of it. Just talk about what you're doing. Oh, and I always write the date on everything. So, and then maybe you want to write like, I want, like what kind of sound do you want? So there's this like particular humming that he always does that I like a lot, and so I kind of have a sense of, so what does it give me, humming? It gives me a sense of the register, which I mean the pitch, like the span of pitch, at least for the main like theme, and by theme I just mean what makes this piece recognizable. It also gives me a sense of like the rhythm, and the dynamics, but what I really mean is more like, this is gonna be like a light, funny kind of piece. If you've played certain Mozart pieces, you'll know what I mean by a funny piece. Go look up what I'm talking about if you don't know what I mean. It's wonderful. So I like to have blank paper just to write that kind of thing down. It's like, I'm going for light and humorous, and maybe I'll star this and say it's like humming. And this isn't even music at all, but this is important because you can always go back to it and see what you're thinking, and that's really useful because you're not going to finish this in one day. I mean, maybe if you're writing, maybe this I'll finish in one day because I have just a very clear idea of where I'm going with it. But honestly, I don't think so. I don't think I'll finish it even in the time it takes to record this video. It's going to be an hour and I'm not going to be anywhere near done. I'm just going to have a much better idea. I might finish it tomorrow, but the lyrics that I have to work on, I've had them since the beginning of the year. Some songs just take a while. I'm trying to think of the word I really wanna. It's kind of like a light, like kind of bumping, like kind of just like. This is why I like to write things down. What am I thinking of? Sort of like a bumblebee kind of, but not like Flight of the Bumblebee, not at all. I don't know, but I'm gonna write down Bumblebee anyway, because I can manage to separate that from the Flight of the Bumblebee. Alright, and so let's figure out what range I'm talking about. Now, I'm pretty sure that what I'm talking about is like a male tenor range. Because I want to be able to interact with the rest of the piano, but I want to get the sense of his voice like from this piece. So off the top of my head, I don't know the male tenor range, but I know my bottom of my range is like a E flat or something. So and I think the tenor, the highest. I'm pretty sure, like the highest for like a trained tenor is like the middle C, which is convenient. And I was gonna play around there anyway. Like, I'm gonna play around the middle C. I might go a little higher, just because I'm not actually writing this for a tenor voice to sing, and I can do that. It's okay. And maybe trained tenors can get up to the G. I forget. It doesn't matter. It's my song. It's about my person, and that's okay. So I'm gonna be probably having a kind of, unless I'm really wanting to make something sound striking, I'm probably gonna be somewhere between an octave and I'm talking about a 10th below middle C. I don't remember what the number system is, so it's a 10th below middle C. So there's an octave and a little. I'm probably gonna be in there, and I'm probably gonna come up in here too a little bit. But I want a lot of interaction, kind of in this just below middle C range. Because on a piano, I really like that timbre. I really like that timbre a lot, and I really love when that timbre interacts with other ranges, even like much higher ranges. It can end up, especially if you stay below, if you stay in that octave below middle C, and you don't go lower, you can end up sounding really ethereal while still having legitimate bass lines, which is fun. You don't have any idea what I just said. What I just said, if you don't know what I just said, was, I'm gonna use these notes a lot. I want like some of these notes, and I want some of these notes. I think they sound good together, and I think they remind me of my boyfriend humming. So I'm gonna write that down somewhere just so so if I go to the musical notation software, I will remember what I wanted and what I didn't want. What was I saying? I want mostly like, man, I should really look this up. Whatever, mostly octave low. Let's see. And more of like E, like the E to the G above. And let's see. Oh. Sorry, YouTube. I gotta go take that call 1 sec. It's not for me. Aha. Let's get us out here. So. Okay, sorry YouTube, I had to take a call. Where was I? We were writing down the range that I wanted. Just saying I want to stay kind of in the octave below middle C, for like the bass line, left hand, whatever you want to call it. And I want to really stick more with that E just below middle C, and I want to get up into the octave above middle C a little bit, and that'll help me when I'm on my music notation, so that if I get out of there, if I'm writing out of that range, I'll have to think about, do I really want this? Why am I putting this here? Is there another way? That's the gist of the whole writing music that I just said there really is, do I really want this? Why am I putting this there? And is there another way? Yeah, so let's see, what's more? I want kind of, bouncing. I want to get bouncing. Bouncing, that's what I want, is bouncy. Okay. This may be the part where you just play around. And I guess I will actually spare you, YouTube, my playing around, because that really might take a while. But I mean, honestly, I want this to be a very thorough demonstration master class. Not that I would call myself a master, that's a word. And because it's the hard part. So I guess I will let you in on that. So every once in a while I'll pop up and explain what I'm doing. And when I start using the software, I'll tell you about that too. So in my head, I kind of have like a fugue kind of going, so I'm gonna write that down. And basically what that means is like multiple voices, voices interacting. But fugues are something that he likes. So, and I like the idea of Maybe like both of our voices interacting. I kind of like that. So this is why I have stuff to write down. So maybe this is again. Interacting with more important. Oh, whoosh. Not for me. Not for me. Vote. That's what it's my name. And me. Vote. Not important. We all know. But anyway, I'll vote if as long as nothing crazy comes in the way. Which I mean, I hope that my brain doesn't actually prevent me from voting. That would be really sad. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm at the piano and I'm thinking about voices interacting. Yeah, so you're gonna want to have some kind of concept, and then honestly, you just don't be afraid of a blank piece of paper. You don't have to have a concept at this point, but it's good if you do. It can make the keyboard seem less infinite if you have some kind of constraint, is what we would call it in architecture. But I have something on my piece of paper, so the space of possible music seems less infinite, and that's usually comforting. But whatever, do what you want. Let's see. I like to figure out my key, actually, because I'm one of those people that hears a lot of character in a key. Some people don't, some people do. Some people more than me, some people less than me. So what I'm actually thinking about right now is, where is my tonic center, my key, my do, the bottom of the scale? Where is that gonna be? And then what is that key? What is that key like? Is that key hard to play in? Like, is it D flat? Well, I can play in that. Is it D flat? Well, it gets a little tricky, you know. Is it G? Okay, I can play in G, sure. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now, because you can transpose very easily, as long as you're careful to check that you have not invalidated any of your instruments or voices. It's very easy to get a music program to transpose a melody, everything, literally everything, up, down, back and forth, back to where you started. So you don't want to worry about that too much. You want to figure out the sound you want, and you want to figure out, can I play this? Can someone else play this? Whoever I'm writing for. If you will forgive me, I will just do what I do and not talk for a little bit. Anyway, let's see how this goes. I kind of like F, because I like having a flat in my key. And I don't know, but I could do B. I could do B flat. I kind of want a flat in this, but I don't like writing an A, because everyone writes an A, or A minor at least. I don't want to write an A. Write an F sharp? Nah, I don't know. Write an F sharp. to have this like E flat, the E flat an octave below, the E flat below middle C, a nice one to sort of come to rest on. That's always nice, especially if you're playing around a lot in here. You know, if you're like up in here and then you can go. That's nice. I think I might write it in E flat. I write a lot of things in E flat. I'm gonna write that down. About ending on the E flat below the E flat below middle C, which I have my own weird notation for. I'll figure it out eventually. Also because I've heard a lot of fugues. I don't know, maybe I want D, that's lower. I don't want E though. It's like, I want to be able to play it. Like, I really do want to be able to play this. I don't know, D might be kind of fun. Like 2 sharps is kind of fun, maybe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just write it in E. Another thing you can do is base your decisions about keys on completely arbitrary things, like letters in someone's name. So, like Bach did something with the BA, C sharp or something that was, I forget. I think it was actually one of his like well received pieces. Look it up. So yeah, I might do this in E because I want to be higher in this register, and I write in E flat too much, and this is special. And I don't like writing in E usually because just because of the modern temperament, and by which I mean tuning of a piano. E, the C to an E is like a little sharp. So E always sounds a little like, it always sounds triumphant to me. Whatever, do with that what you will. But yeah, so I want some bouncy bumblebee stuff in E. Yeah. I'm gonna scratch out my E flat. Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna be nice. And you know, I'm probably gonna end up writing something kind of like a sonata. Some of this, the E stuff might end up becoming the be like a B section, which might make my A section literally A, which would be fine. That wouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna write that down. Okay, I'm obsessive. So maybe I'll just start out at A then, and know that I'm going to E. Yeah, that's fine. Because, I mean, that's literally, makes my 5th A to E centered around middle C. Which is cool. That's good. That's kind of what I wanted. And it makes the bass line usually end up somewhere in that E below middle C range is what I wanted. Yeah. So you want to to decide if you're in major or minor. You can also figure it out later. If you've already got, I wrote a lot of things when I was younger that I just could not for the life of me figure out the key of. I should really go back and check. I would write them out and then kind of pick the key that gave me the least accidentals, because I just didn't know. I didn't know what changing, I didn't know what modulation was, or, you know, and who knows if you do either. So yeah, I'm just gonna play around and try not to make this minor. Now I've got like Beatles stuff stuck in my head. It's from, what do you call it? Yes, can make my love grow. Something, it's from something. Literally, that's the title, sorry. I hope you're all Beatles fans, but if you aren't, the title of the song is something that is something. That is the song I was thinking of. Anyway. You could do blues, you could do modes, if you're into modes, jazz, modal. You could do pentatonic scale, you can invent your own scales, although they've probably been described by someone at some point, because there are, after all, only 88 keys on a keyboard. Yeah. So I like that, clearly. I'm gonna write it on paper as best I can, real quick, just because I don't want to forget it. Just lay some notes. For the record, it's G sharp, F sharp. I kind of label the downbeats and then figure it out from there. So figuring out where the downbeat is can be really useful. So I figured I was a 4/4 time, and then just kind of went, okay, I just said like do 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 do. So I've got do, that's the G sharp, do do, it's another G sharp, do do, oh sorry, no, it's do 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 do. So this is why it's difficult. I like to use this kind of downbeat thing. So I'll write out my notes like this, like that. I'll write out my notes, and then I'll mark it down the downbeats, because I just count on my fingers, and wherever I know I'm gonna number, write the number down. So if you can see what I am doing, so I just sing to myself. So do, so I know the first G is on 1, cool, and then do do do. So I know that second beat was the F sharp, just below the G sharp, and then I got do do do. Okay, that's the rest. Do 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 do, or do 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 do. So the fourth beat is a G. So that's why I wrote a 4 over that G. This is backwards for you, sorry. And then this part, same thing, except the ending was do 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 do. So I know the do do is on the 4. And it was just the E to be the low note. And let's start looking at notation software. We're already at an hour. Yeah, I'm gonna get done soon. Open. I'm writing this for piano. That'll be pretty easy. Oh no, that's not what I meant. I meant new. New. So what do I need? I just need piano. So we're gonna make a new style keyboard. These are the instruments you can put in your score. So it'll have a staff for every, how did I get an organ in there? That's not what. So I click on piano, I click add, and add the piano. That's all I really wanted. What am I calling this? Boyfriend. Me. I always put a copyright date, even though I don't get copyrights, just because it reminds me of when I did it, when I made it. It's always nice. Yeah, so you can change all of this stuff after you're done. So I already know I'm just in 4/4 common time. I kind of I'm gonna leave it as 4/4. And like I said, I decided I was in A major for the beginning. Do I want to put it? You can do all of this later. It's asking me for the tempo and stuff. You can do it later, don't worry. So I'm just gonna finish. There we go. Alright, so in most places, most notation software, you will just, can you see this? this, wasn't it? Again. So my advice is, even if you only have write it down in case you have to go get the phone or something. It's just good to have that. I'm gonna review YouTube so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. Why is there so much reflection? Alright. You can see my pool. Fun times. I'll do this. Ugh. Anyway, this is the last bit. I'm just gonna show you how to enter what we just did. So, like I was saying, I know that on the downbeat, come on, most of these programs will have you choose by like clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. You can also set it up to where you can type, and that can be very convenient. You can also set it up to where you can, what do you call it? You can plug in a MIDI instrument and then it will automatically, that's not it. Gee. So I know what this rhythm is already because I do this a lot. Because I know that F sharp is not, I know the G sharp is not, okay, I went do, do, do. I know the G sharp is the next, oh, it's just so hard to explain unless you've done it before. The good thing about music notation software is that if you do it wrong, you will hear it, and it's very nice because you can just fix it. Do, do, do. I like to do it like this, where I fill in my rests afterwards. Or I guess I can. I'm gonna call it a rest. I don't know why. I could have made it a quarter note. I could have made it a quarter. A tied eighth note to another eighth note, but I didn't feel like it. Getting tired of talking to you, YouTube. That's okay. So here's do 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 do. Do do. Get there. Do do do. 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 Yep. Let's play it, see if it goes. Maybe I'll have to turn this up for you guys. Let's go. Yep. That's it. And you just keep going like that. You just keep going between your keyboard and your music notation software and your like conceptual blank piece of paper kind of thing, and I was once I once asked the leader of my favorite band, his name is Tokay, the band is Streetlight Manifesto. I once asked him if he had any tips on writing music, and he said, okay, look, you're gonna have to write a whole bunch of shit. Just write a whole bunch of shit, and then you're going to find the golden needle in the shit stack. Because he was like mixing up metaphors or something, but but it's true. Just write. Just write. Like, what are you wasting? Like, your time? You're practicing. You're not wasting your time. You're practicing. Just do it. Just do it over and over and over again. Write silly things for your friends. Write silly things for other people. Write. Write for yourself. Write for characters in books. Write for just the fucking hell of it. And you'll get a feel for it. So I hope getting a window into my process helped y'all, and the fact that I feel like I'm pretty good at this by now, and this is all I got in an hour was like a measure with 2 measures with like 3 pitches. Yeah, so I'll try to remember to link to Finale and Muse Score and Sibelius so that y'all can do this for free. And let me know if you have questions, I guess. And don't be afraid to ask other people for questions, like even like college professors or like professional music writers, musicians, conductors, whatever. I mean, you're asking for their time, but you're also paying them a compliment, saying, hey, I know who you are, and I respect you, and I want your opinion. And as for this goes, I had some other like quips that I was gonna say. That's all right. For now, this is goodbye. Until next time. See you soon, YouTube.